With Saitama finally getting recognized by other high-class heroes such as Metal Knight, a Mind Mask, and even Tatsumaki to some extent, I wondered what would happen if Saitama still had his graceful hair. Basically, just how strong would Saitama be if he never removed his limiter, and how would he compare to the other S-rank heroes? Well, my fellow weebs and gamers, my name is Dan Drinks Coke, and today I'm going to be breaking down just how strong Saitama would be if he never went bald. If you stay to the end of the video, I'll also tell you my guess as to what his ranking within the hero organization is going to be. Spoiler alert, he's still absolutely broken. So, without further ado, let's get straight into it, shall we? To really gauge how strong Saitama would be with limits, we need to go back and analyze his feats during his training period. So, way back during the bonus chapter titled Brushing Up, Saitama, who was 300 days into his training, saw major improvements from his strength after saving a child from getting hit by a car, which Saitama himself states that he's now able to move like a hero. And literally right after that, he comes across a Squidward looking tiger level monster that punched him so hard that he went through a truck and then into a wall. Saitama, who clearly took massive damage, tells himself that he needs to surpass his limits. So that's exactly what happens. After losing one of his teeth and showing us a very familiar facial expression, he swiftly one-shots the monster, meaning that at the very least at this point of his training, plus after surpassing his limits, he was already low tier A class to mid tier A class. But it is still pretty hard to say if at this stage he would have defeated a threat level demon monster, as you do need 10 A class heroes to do so. But this is where it actually gets more interesting, because about 1.5 years into his training, in the bonus chapter titled Back of My Head, Saitama started noticing freaking hair loss to the point where his scalp felt exposed. So, out of pure curiosity, Saitama decides to check if he really has a bald spot. But since he only has one mirror, he can only achieve that by turning his head around fast enough, which in concept is absolutely impossible to do, as you would have to move faster than the speed of light. After many failed attempts, Saitama again surpasses his limits and does the unimaginable by turning around so fast that he sees the back of his head. This speed feat, if you can even call it that, is so freaking insane because it destroys the laws of physics. No one in this series remotely showed a similar feat to this. But speed alone doesn't immediately mean that you are the strongest yet, because it is arguable that characters like Tatsumaki, Blast, or even Flashy Flash might have still been stronger than him. And that's where the events of the bonus chapter Summer comes in to put the nail in the coffin. So pretty much a demon threat level monster called the 170,000-year-old cicada nymph was running rampage on City Z, and the citizens, including Saitama, were hidden in this massive shelter that can withstand attacks from demon level monsters, meaning that rafales from bombs will probably not do a lot of damage to it. And Saitama, who couldn't hold his pee in anymore, casually broke the wall to run towards the nearest convenience store. And on his way there, the monster attacked him, but Saitama one-shotted him in the same manner from when he one-punched the Deep Sea King. And he did not one-shot him in a way where he was ready to fight, but more as if the monster was being an inconvenience that was in his way. Hence, it is exactly why that Saitama at this point was easily dragon level and high S class, meaning that Saitama would beat monsters like Elder Centipede, Vaccine Man, and if I dare say, probably even Orochi. So it's not even crazy to rank him right there and then at number 3, right below Blast and Tatsumaki. Speaking of Tatsumaki, in a One Punch Man audiobook called A Summer Festival with Tatsumaki, Tatsumaki actually went to a haunted house where Saitama, who still had hair during that time, was doing part-time. And upon seeing Saitama, Tatsumaki got so scared that she used her psychic power on him, but it didn't work at all. It probably did the same vibration thing on Saitama as a webcomic, and seeing that her power had no effect whatsoever on him, she ran away in terror, which is something that even scared Fubuki, as she couldn't believe that there was a ghost that could suppress her sister's power like it was nothing, going as far to directly power scale Saitama as a dragon level threat and beyond. signifying that Saitama, who probably unconsciously resisted Tatsumaki's power that was guided by fear, mind you, would easily scale higher than her, possibly even going straight near blast level, which means that no one on Earth at that moment and at that time was stronger than Saitama, even if he still had hair and a few bald spots. And if we were even to go further to try to scale Saitama to blast, then it's pretty easy. As we've seen in those bonus chapters, Saitama has again and again broken his limits to become stronger, which is to say that if he was ever put in a dire situation where he will need to surpass his limits, for instance if he was to face an opponent like Monster Garo or Boros, the fight will be a lot harder on Saitama, but he will eventually surpass his opponents by breaking his limits. And in due time, he would surpass Blast as well. And that's honestly something that is quite interesting to think about, because if Saitama is someone who can continually break his limits, then he will become a normal shonen protagonist where Garo will be his arch nemesis as the villain who can also break his limits. After taking all of this information to gauge how strong Saitama would be if he still had hair, it is without a shadow of doubt that I can confidently say that Saitama would still be the strongest hero ever. So guys, give me your thoughts. Tell me in the comments down below if you think I overestimated Saitama's power or if you agree with my opinion. I am a fairly new channel, so if you like this video, please consider to like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so that you don't miss 5 videos where I cover series from One Piece, Jujutsu Kaisen, One Punch Man, and possibly even more. It truly will help me a ton. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, drink some Coke.